We are live. Hopefully, this is coming through. Um, Live from Chile, Canada, British Columbia, Kelowna. It is like -1 degree outside. At least it was this morning. Um, hey, good afternoon from Hepburn, Saskatchewan. It's probably colder there. Well, if you can hear me, please respond. I think I did my mic check, so we should all be good. This is great. It's been a minute since I jumped on, did a live stream. I was off on vacation for the past couple weeks, traveling around Italy with my wife. It was our fifth anniversary, my 32nd birthday, and before that, we were at Essen. Essen was great. And speaking of Essen, this is I met this guy at Essen. Hey, good evening from Europe. Um, Zhao is I always mispronounce his name. Um, he is working on the Stone Saga kind of codex crafting app, which is really slick. It's going really well. It's fantastic to meet him in person. I think I was demoing Mythwind that afternoon at the BackerKit booth. Which, hey, I'm just going to jump in right into it because I know a lot of people kind of watch these recaps to kind of see where everything's at, to see an update, well, all the different projects we have going on, and we got a lot going on as a team. It's very exciting. So I'm going to do a little high level Mythwind, um, some stars, Akarios 1.5, and then Stone Saga, what you see in the background. Just touch base on all of those. And so let's just jump right into Mythwinds. I'll speak about the Essen bit first, but we were there demoing Mythwind. I know our German publisher, Board Game Circus, they had a German copy there, and they I think just the whole weekend, we ended up getting in the kind of Essen magazine. I don't know. There's just a kind of a bunch of really fun things that we ended up having to happen. So that was all during Essen. I just had a lot of meetings, which is fantastic to see people excited about Mythwind, excited about our games, and it was really neat to kind of be a part of that. And regarding kind of the things that you're curious about Mythwind, I had an update. There's nothing really more to share besides that. All of the this past month, right? There's especially with a game, I forget the number of actual like products. Feels like 60, 70, 80,000 actual or maybe 50. I don't know, actual like individual products that we made with Mythwind. So quite a few, and getting them to all of our different locations. But then, another kind of 5 different kind of sets of locations based off of our translation partners. So you just had like a lot of games all getting kind of packed at the factory at the same time. And so just like, a lot of work, and thankfully everything's kind of getting out of the factory and getting onto boats. What I mentioned in the updates, the boat is leaving, scheduled to leave tomorrow for the States. So that's good. It's boating into Georgia. It's a little bit longer than like boating into LA. Same with the Canadians. We have a 20-foot container going to Canada, up to Vancouver, and VFI, they just pick up the games right from the factory. Aetherworks, we have a partial container going, so we're just kind of waiting on confirmation of when that is getting onto a boat. But typically, I think Aetherworks has the least amount of freight time on the water, and then FFE, which is our Europe fulfillment company. They are. I know the container is like getting picked up or almost ready to get picked up, and then it'll be off that direction. So everything's moving. It's really exciting. We are we're like, sorry, my dog is just being a little bit of a butt. We're for me personally, I'm just really excited when people are getting their games, opening up the copies, and really kind of doing a deep dive into the game, playing it, whether it's over Christmas or not, kind of just depending on how it's kind of the time frames work and all that stuff, right? It's a perfect winter game for those of us in the in the northern hemisphere, and perfect winter game. It'll be great to play on these cold days. Put your beanie on and jump, pour a cup of coffee, maybe some tea, and play a cozy game, right? We have a ton of content creators lined up. uh I think really from all over the world, which is really cool to see. So I think the number, it's kind of ridiculous. I think the number is like 50. And so there's going to be like 50 different like reviews or some sort of like content creation being made of Mythwind when it when it finally gets into people's hands. And then that's not to mention all the reviews, right? Um I'm really excited to see, the reviews coming on Board Game Geek. Hey, things you like, things you don't like. What you think of the story, what you think of the components, all that stuff. What do you think of the rule books? We have Mark Maya from Board Game Coffee. Board Game Cafe. Shoot, I think it's Board Game Coffee. He's currently creating our kind of how-to videos, and it's a lot. It's a lot in the sense of we have kind of our core component, or sorry, our core video, but then we're also making kind of like a separate video for each of the characters. And the idea around that, right, is if you're playing the game with some friends, the idea is that you kind of can even choose which character you're playing beforehand, and everyone can kind of watch their video so they can come in and they know what to do, right? They've kind of all learned how to play, because one thing we've found with playtesting Mythwind, it's if you have a full table, right? If you have 4 people, 5 people, it's a little bit of a steep onboarding, especially if only one person is teaching everyone else, right? And it's steep because the other players, all are learning like a different game, right? And typically when we sit down and play board games, you have like 1 or 2 people in the group who actually enjoy learning how to play games and teaching others how to play games. um, and so, what we're doing with these videos is to hopefully make it easier, right? Even though each of the specific characters, I would say, are not, as complicated as most board games we play. I guess maybe just depending. There's some interesting mechanics and hooks. Um, they're all very distinct, which is what makes it complicated, right? It's even more complicated than sitting down with a root for even though root's a very asymmetric game. So it's great. And hey, thanks for joining us, Thomas, or Tomas, and Lord Anubis, from Germany, and where Anubis is from. I don't want to assume Egypt, even though that would be the I guess the heritage there. So so that's Mythwind. Mythwind is it's getting delivered. Oregon. Okay, thank you. Uh, so Mythwind is getting delivered, and just excited, right? I think all the languages included. We ended up printing like 22,000 copies of the game, or 20,000. I don't. It's a number. There's so many numbers that have kind of like come and gone, and I don't care to remember them anymore. We've printed a lot of copies. I'm excited for all of our backers to get the games. I'm excited for random people to buy them in different stores, all that stuff. So it's good. That's Mythwind. We are coming up pretty close um on Stars of Icarios. It's wild to think that I'm just actually gonna go to the Stars page here. Um, that in, I think it's like 10 days, we are launching the Stars campaign. Stars of Icarios 1.5 plus new content on GameFound launches on November 7th, which is in, I don't know if we know how many days it's in. Okay, here it is. Oh yeah, 10 days, 17 hours, 19 minutes and 18 seconds. It's great. We're coming up to 15,000 followers. And this is you know, it's fun to get a revisit kind of like this kind of, we've made a bunch of games, and Acarios was like this first like really big game, and in some ways like is significant. I'm looking at some boxes over here. It's kind of fun to like come back, revisit it, do some tweaks. We have pretty extensive rule book edit, extensive scenario book edit, completely reworked space exploration, there's updated kind of enemy values, combat values for the just for the space combat. So it's I'm happy. It's fun to for those returning backers, right? To they can purchase upgrade packs if they want, or you can kind of get all the updates online via PDF download. But it's gonna be neat. And then we have a couple fun expansions, right? We talked about the drones expansion, the Battles of Acarios expansion, which I'm really excited for, because it's like this neat one-off space combat scenario mission where I think a lot of us really love the space combat in Stars, and myself included. But sometimes it's hard just to get that to the table, because it's hard to get campaign games to the table, especially on game night, right? So we've made a way with Battles of Acarios where you can get right into the space combat with some friends that have like a really slick cooperative space combat game. So excited about how all that's going. And as you're in chat here, feel free to kind of jump in with any questions about any of the projects that we have going on. And I'm going to mispronounce your name, but Gardian or Jardian, thank you for your excitement to play Mythwind. Can't wait for you to get your copy and to tell us what you think of it. So Stars is coming up November 7th. We are running the campaign until, what is it? The 20. Oh boy, we're running. I think it's a 17-day campaign. So is that till the 24th? I have a few more updates next week that I have planned. We're not doing anything. There's not a crazy amount of stretch goals, but we have some daily unlocks. I guess every other day unlocks that we're planning, just to kind of like say, hey, this is thank you. Most likely, majority of the content that we're making here, we're not producing any extras. That's kind of like their game plan. It's like, hey, for the people who love Stars, this is kind of the chance to get into the Stars. We're doing worldwide, all that stuff. So excited about that. Okay, and that kind of leads me to Stone Saga, the last project. Stone Saga, I'm thinking through what we are with Stone Saga. Unfortunately, our lead designer Max has been like pretty sick in October. He's better now, so that's really good. But we had a couple of development milestones that we were going to hit, but we didn't quite hit. But we're still on a really good pace, because I want to, as much as possible, I want people to be able to do a playtest of Stone Saga in December, right? So we have an internal group testing the game, but we're currently working on a revised rulebook with Adam. He's coming in. He's writing a rulebook, and content wise, getting a ton of stuff kind of finished. I'm trying to think the challenges and the goals are all kind of wrapped up for Stone Saga, or being wrapped up. And so we want to kind of create a open beta. I guess open beta is the right word, where we're inviting everyone to play Stone Saga if they want on TTS. Obviously TTS isn't a great the best experience compared to physical, so you don't have to do it if you don't want to. But I know there's a lot of people who are excited for Stone Saga, and want to kind of play and test the game early, and give us your feedback. So we're going to make that happen. And the goal is to get that in December, before Christmas. And we have a few kind of hurdles that we want to make sure we overcome before we release that kind of more to the general public. And then There's some development on the expansions that needs to wrap up. So we have a lot of balancing and some development on the expansions that need to wrap up. And then kind of the only main kind of art assets remaining are like I think one or two of the regions. I think one for the or maybe just the expansion regions. I'm not 100% sure. And so we're gunning, gunning for kind of finishing everything except maybe some of the artwork by the end of this year. Spend the first couple months tweaking, and we're gonna be late. Late based off of our initial estimate, but we'll provide some updates as we get there, and the final product is turning out really really neat. There's well, I think one of my like favorite things with how Stone Saga has kind of taken shape. It like Stone Saga is what it's what it was, but it's kind of like become a little bit more of like a base builder Civ light style game. It's fascinating, right? Where you have a lot of like civilization building, a lot of base building, a lot of crafting. I think there's a lot of neat systems and mechanics in Stone Saga that's going to make the game just really fun to play for quite a long time. And if you just want to play kind of a one shot, campaign, you can absolutely do that as well. So that's where we're at with Stone Saga. Just like you, Lord Anubis, very excited for that one too. And yeah, so we've been busy. Mythwind getting on boats and fulfilling is really taking up a lot of time. Just making sure everything's ready. Hopefully you've seen the picture of it being packed. It's we're trying to take lots of precautions and care to make sure that the game arrives to you as we've intended, because we believe it's a beautiful game and it's lots of fun. So we want that to get into your hands, and then with stars, right? It's I'm looking. I'm not gonna show this to you, but I'm looking at the at the campaign page, and I'm like, man, this is so neat. It's there's just a lot of like significant, cool content, and so I'm excited for people to kind of start to see stars, and I know there's a group of people who've been eyeing up that game for a while and haven't been able to get it for one reason or another, or who are waiting for this 1.5 update. So it's exciting to see that. Okay, I think that is a good high level overview of everything we're at. Hopefully I'll pop on and do these live streams a little bit more often. But I know when it comes to the Stars 1.5, I'll be doing some live streams. I'll be doing some overviews of what's new, what's different with 1.5, just to kind of showcase and maybe some expansion highlights as well. Great. Well, hope you have a good rest of your day, and it's Friday, so enjoy your weekend, everyone, and take care.